I think a lot of you have probably heard about what Israel has been doing lately. I have seen very, and I do mean very disturbing videos regarding what Gvir and the rest of them are doing in Gaza and the West Bank. And I think some of you have probably heard of this story regarding the Palestinian baby. Here's what happened with Ben Gvir when he was confronted on the street by a Palestinian who was coming into their neighborhood when he was marching. You know, because Gvir can never possibly go anywhere without an entourage of protection.
אתה הראשון שאני אסור לי ללכת כאן. אסור לי ללכת כאן. מה ההצגות? למה אסור לי ללכת?
לא, אבל אתה יודע, אני מסתובב לבד. אתה, הם כמה הבטחה. זה אומר, זה לא שלך.
זה לא שלי, זה שלי, של אבא שלי, של אמא שלי, ואני בעל הבית כאן. ואתה בקצב הזה גם נזרוק אותך מכאן. תזכור מה שאני אומר לך. אני אזרוק אותך. אתה הראשון שאני אזרוק אותך. אתה הראשון שאני אזרוק אותך.
I need more weed for this. I can't listen to that. That's like
telling him that this is our land, these are our homes now, and you will be the first one that I come for if I see you. Yeah, he's really tough. Look at how much security detail he has to surround himself with. How tough are you, fat boy? You're not that tough. If you're so damn tough, tell your guards to move away. You know, the one thing we know about the Palestinians, they don't pack weapons. They'll defend themselves. But
they don't have access to weapons.
That's true, too.
If they had access to weapons, then this shit wouldn't be able to be going on.
No.
הראשון שאני אזרוק אותך. אתה לא תגיד שזה לא הבית שלי בגלל שאני יהודי. זה הבית שלי וזה המדינה שלי. אתה יכול להיות כאן, אתה יכול לחיות כאן, זה בסדר. מי שרוצה לחיות כאן...
You're right, libertarian social. I might need crack for this. There's not enough weed. There's just not enough weed to listen to.
Now listen to what he said. Now listen to, this is the important statement here. Anyone who wants to live here peacefully, I am their friend. Is this not directly out of 1984? Who wants to?
You know my thoughts on him, right? You know my thoughts on him.
I want you to get this fuck where he breathes. I want you to find this Nancy boy Elliot Ness. I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burnt to the ground. I want to go to the middle of the night. I want to piss on his ass.
That's all I think of in my head when I see this man. And honestly, and I've said this before, I am so angry that I have thoughts like that. And the Matthew Ho refers to it as moral injury, and it is. It's a moral injury. Yes. I have been so morally injured that I'm never going to not have that. And a huge part of that is because this piece of shit. So
he is and I want you to look at the and break down the irony here of this image. He's saying anyone who wants to live here peacefully, I am their friend, saying that with a noose lapel pin. He's wearing the noose. He has that on his, that's his lapel. That's a noose.
And you know what? That to me, if this were the movie, if we were in a movie, that would be what I would say would be the foreshadowing of his own demise.
Hopefully.
If this were a movie and this character, you know that he's ending up in a noose, right?
If there is one person who I truly believe in my heart of hearts that when it's all said and done is not going to get away, is not going to escape, it's Gvir. He's not going to make it.
What I want for him, actually, and I said this because, you know, I don't like to put out the negative shit because it does come back to us. So what I generally wish for people is all the things that they wish for other people, right? So what I wish for him, but in his case, I would just sort of like to have him dropped off, sort of like an escape from New York situation into Gaza.
Oh, no.
Just by himself.
No, I would not drop him in Gaza. I would drop him in Tehran. I drop him directly.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, but you're bringing in third parties now. I mean, yeah, they would probably, but I mean, the people that are the direct survivors of this man's psychosis are the people that I think should have his fate in their hands. And I'm not the person who should have that. I'm not the person who should have that. I think that his fate should be determined by the people of Gaza.
I agree.
And I would support whatever they would want to do with that.
Unfortunately, I don't trust them to want to have to do a blood oath against him. They are such forgiving people. They are such well-intended people.
They'll, you know what? Do not.
Gvir, they'll
do
make
not
the exception.
no, they first of all, there's something that we're not going to fetishize Palestinians. They're not all like just these amazing, holier than thou people. That's not my point. But they do handle shit when they need to handle shit. When they had to handle their own people that had been traitors to them during this Holocaust, they handled their shit. It's like any other culture, any other civilization, and they'll handle their own better. And those are the people in my mind that should have the ability to do what they want with pieces of shit like this.
Here's hoping.
ביתו בשלום, אני חבר שלו, מי שלא אני זורק אותו. כבר 4 שנים אתה אומר שתזרק אותי. 4 שנים. 4 שנים אתה אומר שתזרק אותי.
What a goon. As big of a goon as it gets. So
he will get what he has coming to him. He will.
Yes.
In my lifetime, I do believe that for sure.
And so what actually was going on when Gvir and his cronies were basically marching through this community? Here's what ended up happening.
Dozens of masked Israeli settlers launched a pogrom in the village of Tovani Masaferiata in the middle of the night. They vandalized the houses and set fire to the homes, vehicles, and the village mosque. And they paint-sprayed revenge on one of the houses. Revenge for what? For being Palestinians living on their own land?
After the
Fire to the homes, vehicles.
Look at this
Dozens of
again.
masked Israeli settlers launched a pogrom in the village of Tovani Masaferiata in the middle of the night. They vandalized the houses and set fire to the homes, vehicles, and the village mosque. And they paint.
I want to go. Wait. I want to focus on something that's really standing out to me with this, and I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't think of this sooner. But the phrasing that she's using is very important. So she's referring to this as a pogrom. And I think that it's pretty spot on. And that's what we need to be calling these, what's happening in the West Bank. And I want to point out that my family, my great-great-grandparents, they all fled Russia before, right at the turn of the last century as Jews because of the pogroms. This is exactly what was happening in the Jewish communities in Russia and other parts of Eastern Europe at that time. And now that's what they're doing here. We need to start with, I think this is very smart. So we should now be referring to what's going on in the West Bank as pogroms because they are.
Sprayed revenge on one of the houses. Revenge for what? For being Palestinians living on their own land?
After the midnight, over than 30 settlers, they raided my village, the village of Itwani. They start smashing the windows of the mosque, trying to throw gasoline, burning materials inside it so they can burn it all. Then they removed from the mosque to this house right there. There was a little child sleeping under the window. After they smashed it, they dropped the gasoline. The gasoline came all totally on the Palestinian child. Then later they start throwing stones from outside the window, and they hit his mother, she's pregnant actually. With the milk factory, they started from here. They try to smash the door so they can break into the yogurt factory. Yogurt and the stuffs inside, it was totally destroyed. It was like fresh yogurt that they want to sell it. This factory, it's the only factory in Masaferiata, and all women in Masaferiata are welcomed to work here. It's offer like jobs for the Palestinian women in Masafer Yatta. And it was actually a very, very scary moment, because when I saw it, that they start with the mosque and the other house, in my house, then I said, okay, the entire village will be set on fire. Family are getting burned, everything is getting burned, our properties are getting burned, and I cannot do anything. I knew if I will come even closer to them, I will be beaten, and maybe I will be burned like, or beaten till.
How is this not a pogrom? How is this not genocide? And they do this for fun. You know, another thing that they were doing there, Jen? They were stealing the pets. They were stealing people's pets.
I got to tell you, let me tell you something. In the grand scheme of what these animals have done, these stealing pets is actually better than some of the other stuff they've done to the pets.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay?
Yeah. We'll finish it up.
Death. I saw myself actually displaced from my village because of the scenes that I saw yesterday. It's written revenge in Hebrew, and they write the Star of David. They throw the gasoline inside the car, and in few seconds the car was totally on fire. There is a phrase in Arabic which is said like, in one hand you will never make the sound of the clap, but with two hands you can make the sound of the clap. And I said this because we want, as we are Palestinians, one of these hands, and we want the people out of Palestine in Europe, and the people that they believe in humanity, and they have like brothers and sisters and the humans that they live in Palestine, and they care about them. We want them as the second hand, so both of us together, we can make the sound of the clap. And it's not literally the sound of the clap. I mean, we can reach for freedom, we can reach for peace, and we can reach for a better life than what we are living now.
Yes, they're so threatening. They're so those Palestinians, they're so threatening the way that they want to just live a good life and have peace.
I would think
I'm so enraged. I'm so angry.
we would think we would be at a point now where
God,
you would be having people on the Capitol steps displaying these video clips for them to see, to know that this is what they're supporting, that they have to live with this. Here's something you're not going to be able to live with, or that nobody should be able to live with. Okay? And I know this is going to make Jen upset. It's going to make a lot of people upset.
what are you showing?
This is the baby that was burned alive.
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
I hope it eats you alive, every last one of you. And we're going to conclude here because I've been holding this back for a while and I'm not going to let it go.
Oh, God.
When you think about how many of these children this has been done to, the hundreds of thousands that they've done this to in 3 years. There was a person in South Florida politics that a lot of people have known for a long time because of the tragedy that happened to his daughter. That's Fred Guttenberg. And this is a person who represents the very worst, in my opinion, of liberal Zionism, because he believes in the supremacy of his people. He spits on the Palestinians. He believes in Jewish supremacy, and he makes commentary like this. Hey, Rashida Tlaib, you are a cancer on the Democratic Party in America. You and your stupid protest vote are the reason we have a second Trump term. You are not a Democrat, but you certainly use the party. As for influencers, check your own house and other fight agency clients like Plattner. Like I said, you are cancer. No, Guttenberg.
You are the cancer.
You are cancer.
You are the cancer, Fred. You are. Your legacy is going to be hate and shit, garbage and just hate. And yeah, you know, and it makes it hard for anybody to give a shit about what happened to you, quite honestly. And you really only care because it happened in your rich neighborhood.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you didn't give a shit. You didn't care about gun violence before it happened to your daughter. And your level of white supremacy is so disgusting. And the fact that you can sit there and be so enraged that the world, because of what happened to your daughter, and you just sit there and just spew out more and more hate, you are the cancer.
That son of a bitch blocked us on social media because we questioned him as to how he can square the circle of complaining about the way things are and yet gleefully, enthusiastically supports Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Well, that's peas in a pod. You're talking about white supremacists. These are Jewish white supremacists, but yes.
Well, Ashkenazi supremacists, yes.
Correct. But yeah, I mean, they're a subset of white supremacy. Yes.
And it should be reminded that they are the more dangerous people, not the ones that act like Hegseth because you can see them coming. You see, people like Guttenberg are considered decent people. You know, he was struck down by tragedy. His daughter was killed in a school shooting, even though we don't deal with any of the serious problems that lead to things like this. You know, like mental health crisis, you know, that's a big fucking problem, like the guy who committed the atrocities. Yeah, we wouldn't have that problem in this country if we had a single-payer healthcare system where people could get the mental health care that they need without having to basically go broke in order to do it. And you rich son of a bitch who lives in one of the wealthiest suburbs in Florida and frankly the country, you don't care about things like that. You don't care about prevention. You only think that the way to solve it is to take guns away. Yeah, good luck with that. How about taking away people's urge and desire to want to commit violence on other people because they can't properly deal with their problems? I never heard you ever say anything about that. But what I have heard you say is how disgusting and how pathetic you are regarding Israel and how you support them full stop. I hope you see this video. I hope you see that child that was burned alive. At least your daughter took a bullet to the head and was dead instantly. Could you imagine having to be burned alive? An infant?
Can you imagine having to have a limb amputated without anesthesia? Because these kids, the kids that are there, which is now the largest contingency of childhood amputees ever that are in Gaza, many of them orphans, by the way, a lot of those kids had those limbs amputated without anesthesia. See, that's a thing, Fred. That's the thing. So yeah, fuck you. Fuck about your daughter. It's unfortunate, but kind of just honestly, we're over it. Gun control is not happening. And quite honestly, most people don't want it. So
we said this a decade ago. It's almost a decade since it happened. It's amazing how time flies. But the thing that is so true, because I even said it at the time, within the first few months, because it became the march and there was the David Hogues and all of those people that got famous and had all the attention put on them because they were being pillars of the Democratic Party establishment. The one thing I will always remember about Fred Guttenberg is that I said, he'll never fill that hole in his heart. It's filled with rage and anger. And he thought because he had money and influence that he could never be touched. And remember what we've been saying, and I've been saying from the top of the mountains, being comfortable is not a right. It's a privilege. He was privileged to live on the right side of town. You go 10 miles outside of Parkland, you go into Lauderhill, you go into Lauderdale Lakes, you go into North Lauderdale. Why don't you see how safe those people are? Why don't you see what they have to live through every day? You don't even have to go to Gaza. You just go a few miles away and find it. But again, he believes in the supremacy of his own kind.
Right.
And this is why Zionism has to die and why we have to cut it off like a cancer. You mentioned cancer in your message, Freddie boy. You are the cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.